guys, I'm Jo Ling Kent, NBC News business and technology reporter, correspondent, and we are looking at Equifax today. You probably remember it was 2 years ago that Equifax disclosed that 140 some million Americans were hacked. And just to give you perspective on that number, it's more than half of all adult American citizens. So more than likely you were impacted by this breach. And what was compromised was all kinds of stuff. We're talking about email addresses, social security numbers, even driver's license information, and really important stuff that's critical to your identity online. And so last week, Equifax announced, or the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, announced that it was a $700 million settlement that Equifax was going to pay the FTC. Now, part of that, a large majority of that, is actually for consumers. And then within that big pot of money, about $31 million has been allocated to pay people for their time that they've spent trying to fix their credit and being breached. And so what comes with that is money, allegedly. And so it's about $125 that you're eligible for. So that's good, right? Everyone started tweeting about it. Everyone started talking about it. It was really exciting. And turns out it's not until $125. And so we are working on a story for tonight on NBC Nightly News about what exactly you will get from this, right? So we're talking about how much money you can get, how you can apply, how easy it is. The key basically is the more of you that apply, the less money you actually get. And it's actually, so here's the FTC settlement right here. It's like 64 pages of words. And so we flip through it, and on page 36 here, towards the bottom, it says that payments for such valid claims will be reduced if more people apply and hit the cap for what they've allocated. So that's basically what's going on, but it's no more than $31 million shall be used to pay alternative reimbursement compensation. So that is basically the gist of what we're going to look at tonight. And we're going to talk to some people about what they did, what they discovered about their credit, and I was really surprised. You'd be really surprised. People who thought their credit was completely untouched, not so. So we're going to take some questions, and I'll try to answer to the best of my ability.
So here's one.
Okay.
How do people actually get the money that they, if they're eligible?
So you go to the FTC website, or actually you can go to NBCnews.com, and we're going to direct you to the website where you can apply. And you basically punch in your name, and you punch in the last 6 digits of your social security number, and then it tells you whether or not you are impacted. Then you go through a bunch of steps to apply for either the cash, or if you don't want the cash, you can apply for credit monitoring from Equifax. But a guy I talked to today who had his stuff breached, he was like, why would I take the credit monitoring from a company that was breached? So he's taking cash. But the real issue is you won't even know how much exactly you get until next year. So it's kind of a long process. It's not like you're going to get that money right away.
And this breach happened kind of a little while ago. So did Equifax take any steps to prevent another breach like this?
Yes. Well, they are taking steps. They have new leadership at the company, and they've said they've been able to secure what has happened. But 147 million Americans, I mean, it's a lot of people, and obviously that's a really scary thing when you're thinking about your own credit, right? Because you need your credit to apply for a credit card, a car loan, a mortgage, all kinds of things. So a lot of people have frozen their credit as a result of this, and it's something that a lot of financial experts recommend, as well as Equifax.
And these breaches seem like they happen kind of often now.
Yes.
Are there any kind of general steps that people should be taking if they're impacted by any of these?
I feel like I'm reporting on a data breach several times a year of this massive scale. It's pretty insane. So what you should do is freeze your credit. And you should do it with all 3 major credit bureaus. And so you can do that pretty easily. A lot of it you can do online. However, you should also remember, when you freeze your credit, you may need to unfreeze it when it comes to applying for that mortgage or that car loan or that credit card, because you got to run a credit report. That will not be possible if your credit is frozen. I have learned that myself, and so you should remember that and keep those PINs and passwords in a safe place where you can remember. Some of the places it's really easy to unfreeze. Some you have to make a phone call. Some you can do online. It kind of depends on the credit bureau.
And information compromised, what kind of does that mean? Like, what happened to people's data?
Yeah, so their information was exposed to hackers, and so we're talking about email addresses, phone numbers, addresses. What else was it? It was driver's license information, social security numbers. So all of that was basically made available to hackers to take advantage of. So some people's identities were actually stolen. And a friend of mine actually was just telling me that she just checked and ended up saying, okay, like I found out from the Equifax site or the FTC site, okay, I've been hacked. I was affected by this. She went back through a bunch of stuff to check, and she checked her credit report and realized 2 years after the hack that someone tried to open a credit card in her name and was successful. So now she's dealing with that. So I know it's an anecdote, one of like millions of stories out there, but that's, some people haven't found out for 2 years, even because the hack was 2 years ago now, and we're just now figuring out the way, or we just now have the tool to figure out whether or not you've been hacked. So I think that's it. Any other questions? All right, see you tonight, NBC Nightly News. Don't miss it, 6:30 Eastern, and in your local time zone. So bye guys, see ya.